T, we have called you to the principal's office today because we like you to answer some questions for us. Woo! Child, I don't know what happened. Listen, I'm just going to say this at the top of the hour of this review. At the time of this recording, we are 3 weeks away from NXT Vengeance Day, and I'm looking forward to the PLE. But tonight left me with so many questions, and I'm hoping that the next 3 weeks they show me the trajectory of the booking, because Williams, this was a weird show.
Makes no damn sense.
It was really weird. But before we get into breaking down the weirdness of these case files, if you will, hi everyone, and all you Iconics wrestling nerds out there, and welcome to another weekly edition of Los Chicos Gordos, your weekly NXT review team here on the Iconics Wrestling Network, YouTube, whatever you want to call it at this point. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and joined with me as always is my right-hand man, my work husband, if you will. Yeah, I just want to say, I didn't hate this episode.
No.
There were some bits that I really liked, and we're going to talk about those. But I am so puzzled, and I just felt like tonight was so rushed. Everything felt so rushed, and I don't know why.
I don't either. It was, what, an hour and a half? A little over an hour and a half, I think?
Yeah, exclude commercials and everything. I was just like, an hour and a half
episode, but
it felt so wonky.
It did.
The pacing was wonky the whole entire night.
It was. It was so all over the board. And I didn't really understand. I don't know. It left me frustrated and annoyed a little bit. I get it. I enjoyed the episode. I didn't dislike the episode. But after the episode, I was just like, you just feel disappointed. But that's not, no, NXT, no. What are you doing? Stop that.
And just like disappointed parents, me and Will here are going to break down this episode. So let's just crack this one open wide. So we opened up this week. And what we were excited about when we talked about this last week, we get Blair Davenport versus Nikita Lyons. And we talked about this last week, how hyped we were, because that backstage segment that they had building up to said match was really exciting. And Nikita was ready to hold my earrings and have a moment and beat Blair up and down. And Blair was ready to fight back too. And we even got a really cool thing before the match even started. And we showed what happened earlier in the day where Nikita is walking and Blair jumps her in the parking lot and they're fighting in the parking lot. I was like, this reminds me of the 2K games for WWE and No Mercy and Shut Your Mouth, where your character's walking through the parking lot, they get jumped, and then you just fight in the parking lot. And then it transpires in the ring, and I was like, okay, cool, we got this. Tell me why this match was only 5 minutes, but when I blinked, it was over.
Let me say, before we get into that, let's talk about continuity, shall we? So we had but we had the confrontation last week. Then we had the parking lot confrontation. And then it spills into the arena. Now, apparently though, after they broke them up in the parking lot, they went to their dressing areas, and then it broke out again, and that's what we see coming in. I wanted to see that happen, because to me, what it looked like is that it came in right from the parking lot, and it didn't. And I know that's a very little thing, but when they were like, oh yes, they went to we're getting dressed, and when they found each other in the back and they started scrapping again, and I'm like, why didn't you show that? Because I would have been probably a lot more okay with the length of the fight had you shown me all of the fighting that had occurred up till the actual fight. So let us see them in the back tearing at each other and everybody else trying to get out of the way. But let me see it. Because if, like I said, all of that plus the fight gives you a full, basically, fighting event, honestly. And I would be okay with that. I totally would. Like when Blair attacked her, which is so great. I love the whole, it's like when we got Blair and Gigi's whole thing. I just love Blair jumping out of the shadows. It's like that Nikita in the parking lot. And then I was like, show us the fighting backstage in the dressing areas, in the locker rooms or whatever. and then show it spilling out into the thing. There was the continuity was weird, and then we get into the match itself, and it was so fast, and I thought honestly sloppy, because I've watched Blair fight before multiple times now, and I know that she's better than that. Now I will say I've only seen Nikita fight once, but everything felt so rushed. It was like, all right, let's get out there, let's get it done, and let's get out of the way for the next thing to come in. And I'm just like, because I think this could have been a dang good fight if they had given it the time and not rushed it and let these two women literally tear each other apart. I would have been here for that. I was waiting for that. And what we got was 5 minutes, and there really wasn't a whole lot of really cool moves that happened. Not really. There was a couple of moments, but I was wanting, like, Nikita's a big girl, man. And I know it was the right leg injury or whatever, but she's still a big woman. Powerful was what I'm talking about. Not size-wise, but she's very big size-wise too. But she's powerful. She could pick me up and throw me around the room. Which, okay. But I was like, I felt like she was pulling back and not really attacking like I feel that she can do, or know that she can do, because I've seen it. And then honestly, Blair wasn't as batshit crazy as she usually is. And that's why I was like, what's going on here? I don't understand. For two women who have some kind of beef with each other, this did not feel like a solution match. This literally felt like we're fighting in the locker room match. It was like, I don't know. I just was so like, I was a little underwhelmed by the fight. And then I was totally underwhelmed by the time of the fight. I was like, wait, what? That's it? That's all we get? And then Blair wanders off. I was like, So I don't know. It starts off that way, and I was just like, God, please don't let the whole night be like this.
I was so disappointed with this, and I know Nikita just came back, but I'm like, I know she can do better. We've seen Blair do awesome as well, and you know what? I was let down with this, and also the time of this match didn't help. This was only like 5 minutes, which was really weird. I'm hoping this is not it. I want the girls to be able to redeem themselves in a way and be able to fight again. So hopefully they'll let them continue to feud this out, because this was not the way that if this is it, this is not how I wanted it to go down.
No, if this is it, this was dumb. Seriously. Because this was not a way to end the feud or end a whatever, or a smack talk, or no. Absolutely not. No. I'll be very upset if it is.
I 100% agree with you. And then that disappointment, not even disappointment, the first big red flag of the night immediately happened after this. We're backstage, and we have Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So Carmelo is on the phone, and then Trick enters the scene, and Carmelo hangs up the phone. And the first half of this promo is Carmelo Hayes trying to justify his reasonableness to coming out to the match last week between Trick and Grayson, even though Trick told him to stay in the back. And Trick, at first, is, you know what? He's not believing Carmelo Hayes. I'm upset with you, dude. I told you to stay in the back. You didn't listen to me. And it's showing me that you don't think I can hold my own. Which I was just like, yes, dissension. But then that got thrown out the window immediately, because then...
Yeah.
Okay, I was behind Trick until the very end of this, because then Carmelo tells Trick that he has gotten them the final spot in the Dusty Tag Team Classic, which I was like, Ilya is for real hurt? Is he not here? What's happening? Why is our NXT champion not here? And at first I was on Trick's side. He's, bro, really? I was supposed to focus on whenever Ilya comes back, because I'm locked in on that. I can't be locked in on this. And then Carmelo, the snake he is, spits his venom towards Trick, and basically sweet talks him and be like, yo, bro, you could be the 2 champion. You could be a 2-time champ. And essentially, Trick Williams falls for it. I was like, damn it, Trick, we were so close. Like, I was with you, and then it got thrown out the window. Carmelo and Trick, this is what I don't want to see. I am so afraid that they're actually going to make it to the finals at Vengeance Day, because we got told that the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament would happen at Vengeance Day. And my biggest fear is that Trick and Carmelo are going to make it to the finals, and even worse, I know some people would love to see Carmelo and Trick be a tag team, but not with the story that we've been telling. I am not okay with it. I do not want to see them go to the finals. I do not want to see them win either, because if they win that tournament, I'm like, what are we doing? I was like, I thought Trick was on track to face Ilya. What's happening? It's like, we're taking... Will can get this because he's a big TTRPG nerd and a video gamer as well too. It's like when you're playing a tabletop game, and you, as the game master, you have set out the main quest, but then all of a sudden your players decide they want to go do this random side quest, and they take the long way around until they get back on track. That's exactly how I feel with this whole entire story we're telling between Trick and Ilya. I thought we were getting to the point of this. I thought potentially we were going to get this at Vengeance Day, but I don't think the NXT champion is going to be at Vengeance Day anymore. I could be wrong, because we have 3 weeks then, but this is red flag number 1 of the night for me. I'm like, what are we doing? Why Trick and Carmelo do not need to be in this tag team tournament? Honestly, they don't need to be here. And I'm so afraid they're gonna make it to the finals and take up a spot for a team that could have been there. I was so frustrated with this. I'm like, no, Shawn Michaels, what are we doing?
Yeah, I have been on board with this Carmelo, Trick Williams, whatever it is, and I have been very loyal to it. I've been like, yeah, Trick's doing this, Carmelo's being snaky, and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, we need to end this. We need to get to whatever the end game for this is last week. I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on with Ilya. I don't know if this is legit injury or this is whatever injury. And so they're like, oh, what do we do with Trick Williams? And I don't know if this is... Now, again, I'm sitting there going, okay, Carmelo got him into the tag team thing, a championship, or the Dusty Rhodes tag team tournament. That's what it is, tournament. That's good. Think of the damn word. And the only thing I can think of is that Carmelo wants to win something so bad that he is willing to throw Trick under a bus to get it. And I could see him causing the two of them to lose in the tournament because of his wants. He wants it so bad. And I think they might win their first round, but I don't think they'll make it to the finals. I don't. Because, and here's why I hope, or at least this is why I hope they don't make it to the finals, is because I hope at Vengeance Day, Trick Williams says, you know what, Mello, you and me in that ring right now. That is what I want at Vengeance Day. This is, I guarantee you, what everybody wants at Vengeance Day. Everybody wants Trick Williams to kick Carmelo's butt across that ring. That's what we want. And then Mello needs to lick his wounds and go to main roster. Seriously. And then let Trick get in there, and after Vengeance Day, he and Ilya can have their match. That's my dream scenario. Now what's actually happening, I have no clue. I have lost all track of what the heck this is. I'm like, when they announced that, when he was like, oh, I got us the last spot, and I'm like, Why? That's, like I said, I could only think that this is Carmelo being selfish. This is him going, hey, I know that you're like in top physical condition right now, and I could use that to my advantage. And this is all I can think of, is that Carmelo is just using Trick to get this title thing. That's all I can think of. And I'm hoping that it just explodes in his face. Because I'm just getting I'm starting to get tired of this arc. I think it's played itself out too long, and it's actually starting to get me to almost dislike Trick.
Yeah, the momentum that we put behind him. I loved everything that happened. Then he had the awesome showing at Deadline, and we were building up towards this for New Year's Evil. And the fact that we didn't get it was perplexing, but now we're throwing Trick into something that he doesn't need to do.
No.
I don't know. So here's the thing. I honestly don't know what's going to happen with Trick. I would love to see Trick and Carmelo have a match at Vengeance Day, but I'm still holding out to the fact that I think that at Stand and Deliver is probably where Trick and Carmelo are going to fight, because that's the biggest pay-per-view of the year for NXT. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know how much I would love if they drag this out up until April.
I
don't know.
I don't either. It needed to end.
At least this should have ended. We should have had Trick versus Ilya at New Year's Evil, but
yeah,
that's the other thing that I don't understand with this whole plot. If we're building up to Carmelo turning on Trick, where does his title match come? Where does his title match fit into this narrative that we're talking about with Trick and Carmelo? Because unless Carmelo cost Trick the title, from a narrative perspective, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me right now.
It doesn't. No, at the moment it doesn't. And that's why I'm like, something major has to happen in this tournament in order for that to make sense, I think. But again, it's over, guys. The arc is getting boring.
We have lost the plot.
Yeah, it's starting to get convoluted now. It's starting to get super convoluted. And I'm just like, look, if you've changed your mind and you don't want them to be rivals, that's cool. But you need to end whatever the hell this is that Carmelo's doing, and you need to stop Trick from being all upset that he's done it. If you want them to break up or whatever, then make it happen. Because this moment right here could have been like, you know what, Melo, man, you've been pushing a lot, and I don't need that in my life right now. So I think we need some time away. Easy, done. There it is. Like, then Melo could have gone and grabbed somebody else and did the damn tournament, and then lost, and then left. That's literally, it's easy to end it and end it like where it makes sense. Right now, it's not making any dang sense. Because I'm like, Trick, why are you still hanging out with him? He has literally put you in so many compromising positions. Cut him loose, dude.
Drop him like a bad habit.
Yeah, Trick's on the rise. He's down. Carmelo's down for the count. And he's trying to bring Trick with him. I don't know, but I'm just getting to that point where I'm done.
It's frustrating for sure. Again, we have 3 weeks. They have 3 weeks to fix this.
Can I just say, this is really funny. The juxtaposition, I was in a juxtaposition in this episode because I'm literally getting to the point where I don't even want to see Trick and Carmelo on my screen. Every time they come on, I'm like, oh God. And then all of a sudden, now I want to see some other folks on my screen more now.
Well, let's talk about it because we saw them next. This is the first quarterfinal match of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And when they told us the bracket, I'm not going to lie, I was very surprised where we placed certain teams. And I was just like, as soon as I saw that we were getting Gallus versus Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, I'm like, oh, the Gallus boys are losing. That makes me sad. I was like, I'm going to hate this match. I'm going to be honest, Will, and I'm just looking around to make sure that lightning doesn't
This was
strike
my
me.
match of the night.
Same! Oh my god, it was mine too, girl! I was like, ooh, child. I was like, this was my match of the night, and I cannot believe I'm saying that.
I can't either.
The air after we both have, to varying degrees, talked about our disdain of everything that we got with Baron and Braun before. Like their build to their match at No Mercy was crap. Breaker has been spinning his wheels. Baron Corbin still hasn't improved on the mic. I want to see them win this tournament.
I do too. I do too. I'm literally, and I know everybody out there has heard me talk shit about Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker too. Probably more Baron than Braun, but their dynamic together makes me love them. And this is so funny because I always said, you have to give me something in order for me to go with you. And now Baron and Braun have both given me something, and I am on their team.
Not just to mention their tag team dynamic, but this match in itself, paired up against the Gallus boys, holy crap! All four of them beat the piss out of each other.
It was so good. I was just like eating popcorn watching it. I was like, holy crap. And you know what pisses me off about this match though? We got that stupid picture-in-picture crap.
I'm so mad.
Put that somewhere else. I was like, this was such a good match.
The move of the night happened here when Wolfgang and Mark Coffey did like that double tower German suplex on Braun where they like sandwiched him. I was like, oh, this was awesome.
Oh my god. And what was the other one? The other moment was, oh god, was it? I think it was Braun threw the one, I can't remember who it was, one of the Gallus boys into the arms of the other one. Then he went and picked them both up.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
I was like, and Corbin and Braun's like character work in this fight was
so
good. I couldn't believe it. I literally was in my office today watching it going, I can't believe I'm enjoying this match. I cannot believe.
I was surprised. You messaged me. You're just like, what universe are we in?
I was like, what? I am here. I'm here. If they can maintain this fun, sort of cool duo, I am here with them till the very end because it is so much fun. And at the end of the match, they had that moment with each other, and I was just like,
it was so good.
Where has this been? Maybe the two of them have just been, maybe they both just got so tired of people hating them.
Let's just be goofballs, and I love it.
It is great. Truly, I am a Corbin and Braun.
I love this tag. This is a tag team I never knew I wanted until we got it.
Me either. And now I hope to God it stays around for a while. Because, man, even if they don't win the tournament, I want to see them do some more tag team stuff.
I want them to make it to the finals. That's how invested I am now after one little match. Holy crap, man. But we carried the lead, but Baron and Braun beat the Gallus boys, so they're moving on to the semifinals. And it's going to be a good match because we know who their opponents are later in the night after we see the second quarterfinal match. So we know who they're going to be facing. I'm just like, oh god, all hell's about to break loose. I'm not here for it, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. All right. For the Academy Awards nomination for the consideration of the Academy, this is where we get part one of the trilogy that was Fallon Henley and Tiffany Stratton starring in Ranch Hands. First and foremost, I love that Fallon, of course Tiffany's late. I know that she's going to be. And then her the other ranch hands were like, where is she? And I was like, don't worry. Here's the thing. Fallon got annoyed, but I love the fact that she didn't lose faith in Tiffany. She's late, but I know she'll be here. I was like, oh my gosh, Fallon actually believes in Tiffany a little bit. And then we get the dramatic music and the slow-mo shot, and then out comes Barbie Quinn, all in her Barbie cowgirl outfit. God, it was so good. And the makeup too, I was like, she blended the pink in. I was just like, girl, you get the snaps from me. I was like, holy crap.
Oh my god, it was all that I had hoped it would be.
And this was only the first part too.
I know. I was already like, yep, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. Before I even knew what was coming up, I was like, yeah, this is perfect.
And I love that. Yeah, Fallon's Tiffany. That's not what we wear around here. I'm not sure you're gonna be comfortable or you want to get that all dirty. I put some clothes out here, and Tiffany's like, gross. No, I got this. And then the small details is what kills me too, because in this first part, Fallon is walking Tiffany through the stalls and explaining to her what today is gonna look like, and Tiffany is struggling because her heels almost keep breaking on the mat, which was so funny to watch. Tiffany selling that. I was just like, this is only the first part, and we didn't even really get much except just an explanation of what to expect for the rest of the time.
Oh my god! I literally was like, this is only the first one. If it's like this through the whole thing, this is gonna be beautiful. This is gonna be beautiful.
This was definitely the highlights, and it kept me invested in the whole night. So from here, Lyra Valkyria, I don't know why I like Lyra. Lyra Valkyria comes out next, and she cuts a quick in-ring promo, and she tells us that next week we're gonna have a big old women's rumble, which I'm here for. I love when there's a bunch of women in the ring. But once it's just gonna be a twist with it, because when we get to the final four in this rumble, then it becomes a fatal four-way match. And the winner of that Fatal 4-Way is going to go on to Vengeance Day to face Lyra for the title. I was just, we couldn't have somebody else you've been feuding with, Lyra? Okay, sure, fine. And then we saw, like, all the women that were going to get involved. I was like, I see no Tiffany in this. Is she not involved in this? Whatever. And then I looked at everyone. I'm like, oh, I already know who's going to win. I think Cora's winning this one. That's the only logical sense that makes sense to me, because Cora pinned Lyra a couple weeks ago in that tag team match. And I think Cora's going to win it and go on to Vengeance Day, but that's neither here nor there. So I was like, okay, cool. And then Lola interrupts. I was like, ooh, fight, let's go. This started out great. And you know what? Lyra came in with the hit. She's, Lola, what happened to you? I was just like, you know what? When I heard that you were coming to NXT, and I did my research on you, I was excited because you come in with this MMA background. You can basically fight a bitch if you want to. And you know what? And then you just talk and talk and talk, which, by the way, the delivery of that line, I was like, perfect. That's how I would do it too. And then she came in with the kill shot. I'm not waiting for you. I was like, I didn't come to NXT to shake my ass on Instagram. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, ooh, bird.
Shots fired, man. Shots fired.
I was so excited. I was like, oh, Lola's about to fire back. And then she fired blanks. I was so surprised. I was like, oh, Lola, I know you could be fiery, girl. This was not it. What happened?
I know.
Lola ate her up.
Which, again, goes with the whole night. Because I'm like, why did that happen? Because I was very much, wait a minute. There's no way on this big blue marble in the middle of space that she would have just let that go so poorly like she did. I was like, is she a pod person? Who is that? That is not her. No. I was so disappointed in that if you want to call it a comeback. I was just like, girl, what are you doing? And yeah, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's happening here right now.
Well, then the transition to the brawl was hella weird too.
Yeah, it was.
Because Lyra talks a little bit of crap, and she pushes the wedge between Lola and Elektra, and then they all of a sudden start fighting without cause. Which I will say, then Tatum Paxley coming out in her goth-inspired scene kid with the band T-shirt and everything. I love this whole aesthetic. I want to be Tatum now.
I know, me too.
And honestly, I thought we were going to get something be like, oh yeah, these 4 women, we're going to get a tag team match next week. Nope. Because all of them are involved in the Battle Royal. I was like, are we not going to pull the trigger on this tag team match? Are we going to save it for later? What's the tea? I'm like, oh my gosh. It started off great. Lyra, as always, was cool. Lola under-delivered, and then it was just really weird pacing the rest of the way through. And obviously, we're not pulling the trigger on this tag team match between the 4 women that are involved in this. I don't know. Once again, this is going to be the word I'm going to keep repeating the rest of the evening. We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna throw these next backstage segments together because they were like setting up different things. First, we get Metaphor being like the high school kids that make fun of you after a bad breakup because they were watching the breakup with the Coyote Uglies and were being turds about it, which I was here for. And then I don't know if I'm like, okay, everybody needs to take improv because they kept cutting each other off when Josh entered the scene. And I don't know if it was the mics or whatever, but I couldn't hear. Certain people were too loud. I was just like, this was a mess. But ultimately, this sets up Ora Mensah versus Josh Briggs later in the evening. I love that Josh Briggs was like, called him a sidekick, and I was like, that's funny.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
And everyone's still lighthearted. And Ora Mensah like took it to heart, and he's like, "I'm gonna beat your ass." And Josh is like, "All right, I'll see you in the ring later. Bye."
And we were talking off camera earlier. This is one of those moments where it was like, bang! Suddenly we have a match. Like it was so fast. It was just like it happened. It like escalated very quickly.
I know that we talked like the breakup of the Coyote Uglies. Josh mentioned he wants to continue to go after championship gold as a singles competitor. I was like, okay, cool. And then immediately, with no discourse, no build, we're just like, I'm gonna get a rematch against Noam Dar. I was like, the plot has jumped a couple of chapters ahead.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody didn't tell the story in the right order.
Yeah. I'm like,
I was like, we're escalating this really fast. What's happening?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Everything was moving so quick.
And speaking of things moving quick too, first of all, I love that Luca, because when next we see Luca and Ava Ray, Luca is complaining and he's trying to use his lawyer speak to basically tell Ava, it's just, listen, my foot was underneath that rope, therefore I should not have lost that. And Ava Reigns was basically goes like, dude, you go take it up with the ref. I do not care about you right now. I was like, you go, Ava, you tell him off. And then I was super happy to see Dragon Lee pop back on the screen because we addressed this last week. He had some visa issues that made him be stuck in Mexico, and therefore that's why he couldn't be at New Year's Evil. But Carlito did an awesome job in substituting in last minute, and Carlito was a part of that epic move that we had last week with the ricocheting of the ropes to make Joaquin Wilde fly higher and farther, which was, listen, that is still one of my favorite moves ever. But Dragon Lee says, you know what, he's excited to be back here. He's ready to continue to be here and fight in NXT. And then our personal favorite Poison ripoff tribute band member, Lexis King, comes in. And he's holding this stupid contract with the golden star on it. I was like, sir, did you steal that off the set of a children's show? What's happening? But essentially, Lexis King, with no talking about anything, no talking to Shawn Michaels, not talking to Ava, literally has his contract all made up and basically says that, hey, you're back, which means the open challenges might be back. So let me save you the trouble. I had this contract already signed up and everything. All you need to do is sign it. And you know what? I have to give credit to Lexis King because this is the one thing that heels do, especially like when you want them to be racist but not be obliviously racist, because the way he said amigo and just like the generic Spanish words in the most white way possible, as a brown person right now, I'm getting upset with you, Lexis, and you're doing your job. Bravo. Like, seriously, it's the standard trope for that. But of course, Dragon Lee wasn't going to take that line down, so he's okay, sure, I'll sign this, I'll see you in the ring, cabron. I was like, yes, call him a bastard in Spanish. You go, boy. I was like, and Lexus ends the whole thing. It's like, what did he say to me? And Ava's like, don't worry about it. You got bigger things to worry about. I was like, you know what? I enjoyed this backstage segment. This is what I want to see. If this is Lexus every time, I'm here for Lexus being this like little weird dopey heel.
Yeah. I've gotten used to him. Because at first I was like, I don't know why you're here. I still don't know why he's here, but I'm enjoying what he's doing so far.
And we're getting the catalyst because we're going to talk about a certain somebody we saw pop up during his match later. Which I was like, continuity! So we got these two backstage segments. Then we get into the Josh Briggs Ora Mensah match. I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be a fun match. Metaphor is going to get weirdly involved, but Josh Briggs is going to win. And Josh Briggs did win. What I was not counting on is this was another 5-minute match. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Why is this match 5 minutes?
I know. That's what I was telling you. Everything felt so damn rushed. I think it's because of the tag team thing. I really do.
Probably.
Because there was another one right after this one, right? Wasn't the second one after this?
No, so that happened a little bit later towards the end of the show, because after this match we get Tiffany and Fallon part 2, and then we get the NXT Tag Team Championship match.
That's right. Sorry, I jumped in. My bad.
It's okay. We can get there sooner than later, because again, there's not really much to say here. Metaphor did pull their shit. Everything that I thought was going to happen in the match did happen. The only thing I did not anticipate was all of it it all happened simultaneously within the span of a minute and a half, instead of it being spaced out like I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Oro Mensah has the offense a little bit. Josh Briggs makes a comeback. Metaphor gets involved because Oro Mensah is getting his shit rocked, so to speak. And then, of course, Josh Briggs would fight out of it and beat Oro Mensah. To me, that's like a good 8 to 9 minutes, maybe a 10-minute match if you want to go that long. But we condensed it like a can of Spam into 5 minutes. So I was like, what is happening? Now, I will say that clothesline from hell that Josh Briggs did to pick up the win here was crazy. It was brutal. But then again, the subtle details. As he was pinning Oro Mensah, he stared right directly into the retinas of Noah Dar, like he was burning into his eyeballs. And I was just like, oh, that's a look of evil, and I'm here for it.
It was great. I was like,
I'm gonna rock your world.
And I'm here for it. I truly am.
But again, I was just like, 5 minutes?
Yeah, what the hell? I know. This deserved like a good 10 minutes. This could have been such a epic battle. Because seriously, it could have. But it didn't. It felt very much like the Nikita and Blair fight. It felt fast, and we got to get through it quickly. Let's truncate. Oh God, we're about to go over time. Jump to this point, and then they like jump, and then suddenly it's over. And the big clothesline. I get that was the winning move, but
it felt like a weird, like all of a sudden out of nowhere finish. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Josh Briggs picks up the victory. It seems that we're eventually going to be building up towards the rematch against Noah and Dar. So I don't know, man. Josh has been picking up a lot of steam the last couple of weeks or so, especially in the last 2 months. He has to be destined for something.
They got something planned for him. There's no way they're giving him this much face time
for him to lose again.
Yeah, no way.
We shall see. From here, we get the second part of our trilogy, Fallon and Tiffany. This time, Tiffany gets up and gets close and personal with Buttercup, and I love how we built up to that. She's that, all right, but it's time. All right, Buttercup, and Tiffany's like, excuse me, I don't like to be called that. No, that's the horse's name, Tiffany. And so then we get the reveal of Buttercup, and Tiffany sold this. I bet you the real person behind the Tiffany Stratton character. I was like, she probably has been around horses a lot, so I get that. But just to see her just like overact with it, she's, oh my gosh, I'm touching this creature with a sponge, and she just makes the faces as she's like washing.
So good.
And I love that as we continue to see Tiffany through this, she continues to get more disheveled and dirtier, and she was like at the middle point of all this. It was so funny, and I was like, this was worth all the 2-month build that we had for this feud.
Absolutely. It was totally worth it. So far, I was like, after the second one, I was like, oh my God, this is great.
I was like, how do we top the third? How do we top it? And then we will get our answer later in the evening, because I was like, gold!
Yep.
So then from here, we get our NXT Tag Team Championship match between Out the Mud versus the Family. I also have to say, I wasn't rocking with this match the first half because I felt like there were some miscues. Some people missed their spots. I think someone got hit. People got hit too hard a couple of times. But then it picked up in the second half, and I was like, not my favorite match, but you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I love that the Family outsmarted Out the Mud because they weren't paying attention. I was like, y'all are in a tag team championship match. You need to be prepared for everything. And Out the Mud, we're talking all the smack leading into this match. And they got played by, which we'll talk about later, by Miss Jada Parker. She pointed out, you guys got punked by the simplest thing. What's wrong with you? because they got punked, which allowed the family to retain. I was just like, that's the way the game is played, y'all. You gotta be smarter than that.
Yep. I know. I agree. Because I have my issues with Out the Mud and
the presentation,
yeah, and so it really puts me off of it. So I was like, okay, I'm watching, and I'm just like, the stereotypes were killing me. And yeah, and then about midway, about second half, that's when it was like, oh, okay, all right, it's not bad, it's a pretty good match. Okay, it's pretty good. And it ended exactly how I thought it was going to end. This was a night of predictability. And so yeah, it was good. I liked it. Again, it was not by anywhere near my match of the evening, obviously, but it would by the second, I'd say about 2/3 through for me is when it picked up, and I was like, okay. And then I relaxed and started watching it. Because I enjoy watching the family wrestle. I like those guys. D'Angelo and Stacks. Right? Stacks, yeah. I am sorry, guys. I'm just really bad with names sometimes. I just know D'Angelo because he's delicious. He is. He's yummy. But yeah, about 2/3 through, I think, because you're right. It felt sloppy, much like Nikita and Blair felt sloppy, and I honestly and truly, even the Mensa Briggs fight felt a little sloppy, and this one did too. This one started out, you're right. Felt like some miscues happened, and like some actual actual hits happened, which happened. I get it happens, but it just felt weird, and then it kicked into gear. I guess the chain caught the spokes, and then it got good. And then I was watching it and going, oh, this is a pretty decent match. Okay, all right. And then the ending happened, which happened exactly as I thought it would. And then I was like, okay, cool. All right, what's next? I didn't necessarily dislike it. It was just, okay, that was cool. What's next?
Yeah, so family retain. Out the Mud got punked, and we'll talk about them a little bit later. So from here, really quickly, we get NXT Anonymous showing a video of all the girls of Chase U, meeting with JC and Thea, talking about their plan to get the money. I was like, they're about to make a sexy calendar. I was like, they're about to do the fireman calendar, aren't they? Or something. I was just like, I don't know what they're planning, but I'm here for it. And if they actually turn it into an item to buy, we will be the first one to throw our money at it. Like, anything with Thea and JC, I was like, I'm here to support the cause. I'm here for the bake sale.
Yep, you too.
I'm so excited.
Show me the cookies.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I was like, women power. I'm so excited for this. I can't wait. Again, then we get a backstage interview that I feel didn't even need to be here, to be completely honest. So Oba Femi was supposed to get interviewed, and then Lexis King ruins the interview by interrupting. And I was just like, this is really weird. So Lexis King basically says, it's like, bro, you got this contract. I want to congratulate you, but I have this one. And I'm about to take on Dragon Lee. And you know what, bud? Oba, you can cash in that contract when I become your new NXT North American champion. And goes off. And Oba Femi just looks at, as Lexis walks away, it's like, what is this deal? What? It's like, Oba didn't even get to talk. I was like, what happened? Like, we didn't. Honestly, I feel like this didn't even need to be her.
No, it didn't.
This was weird. It was like it was only 2 minutes, but I was like, this is 2 minutes of my time. I'm never gonna get back. In the words of Maxine Waters, I want to reclaim my time.
Yeah. See, this is my whole thing with Lexis King. Is this what he's supposed to be? If it is, yay! But let us know that this is what he's supposed to be. Because he's supposed to be the one that stirs up all of the doubt and that sort of thing. Because Femi did look at his contract, and so I was like, okay, if that's Lexis King's, if that's his thing, then I'm all here for it because he does it well. He's also smarmy and gross, which is great because we'll get drinks after. I was like, ugh. So gross. But yeah, this interview didn't need to happen. It felt a little pointless because what happens because of it, quote unquote, could have just happened naturally. We didn't even have to set something up. Is what it is. I don't know. It felt weird. Again, most of this evening felt weird.
It did. From here, once again, we're still backstage. Mark, so all the Gallus boys are there. So we have Wolfgang and Mark be very upset, throw a tantrum. I understand what I was like. This is a tantrum I'm okay with, because they're like, bro, we shouldn't be losing and we shouldn't be first out. I was like, you know what? I agree with you, but Baron and Braun tend to. I'm biased because I like their tag team, but I was like, I can understand why you guys are upset. And then I had to replay the next section a couple of times for a variety of different reasons. And this is no shade to them, but number one, I had to rewatch this with subtitles on because those accents were thickum the geese. I was just like, those are some thick accents, boys. So I was just like, and I don't want to be that person. I was like, I'm bilingual. I can speak Spanish if I need to. But I was just like, yo, those accents are thick. And I need to re-watch this to hear what they're saying. I also may have needed to rewatch this a couple of times because I was getting lost. And I was like, oh, hi, boys. I was like, listen, I need to understand what you're saying, but I'm lost in the sauce. I'm just like drooling. I was just like, wait, what? Hold on. Let me wipe the drool off my mouth. But essentially, it seems we're going to be getting Joe Coffey and Ridge Holland at some point. I was like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Give me all the beefy European boys.
Absolutely. Because he's Scottish, right?
I want to say Ridge is Scottish, and we know that Joe Coffey is
they're Irish. Yeah. Or is he Welsh? I thought they were Irish.
I think he's from Welsh because I think that was the flag that was behind Joe Coffey during the Heritage Cup.
Oh, was it Welsh? Was it Welsh? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the Welsh flag.
I thought they're Irish.
Honestly, WWE plays hard and fast with where characters are supposed to be. I just say European just to cover everything.
I
was just like, listen though, that accent though, I'm like,
yeah, I know, but I was just like, that's so funny. Okay,
but
cool.
Ridge versus Mark Coffey, I'm here for it.
Me too. Absolutely.
I was like, hey boys.
Hello.
This was the moment I was like, okay, this episode has been weird, but honestly, I paused the television screen. I'm like, Fatal Attraction, what?
Yeah, I know, right? It's so funny.
See, I'm trying to prolong this because technically this sets up Ridge and Mark Coffey later, but I'm trying to prolong this section as much as we can.
Yeah,
let me tell you, I was hyped for this match. I wasn't expecting it to be a 5-star classic, mind you. But I was just like, yes, the two baddies of NXT are about to throw down, and I'm here for it. And then I was let down. Like my parents are in me sometimes. I was disappointed in this match. I was a disappointed parent in this match, Will. And I shouldn't have felt this way, because I love me some women's wrestling. But even I can't defend what we got, because this was not good. This was... I hate to say it, and JBL's gonna probably kill me tomorrow when we review Dynamite, but this match was basura. This was trash. I did not like this match, and it makes me feel sad, because I love both of these women. And nothing was inherently bad, but I was just like, there was miscues, there's some weird spots, and then the ending really took me out of it. Bearing the lead here, Cora Jade beats Gigi Dolan, which I knew was going to be happen anyways, but 5-minute match, and then this match felt all over the place. I don't think this match knew what it wanted to be either. The girls couldn't figure out what they wanted to do in this match, and it's shown, unfortunately.
Yeah, this match shouldn't have even happened. Honestly, we really didn't get anything that we didn't already know from it. It was so short. It was sloppy again, and it was rushed. It felt rushed. And I don't understand why. Why would you not want this match to last 7-8 minutes? Why, or 10 minutes or whatever? Why would you not? Because Gigi, we all know Gigi is just as crazy as anybody else. And then, come on. It's you got these two badass women in the ring together, and you don't give them the time that the match should have had. Oh, you're right. It was absolute garbage. It was garbage. And I hate saying that about my women's wrestling, but this match was garbage. And it has nothing to do with the women. It has to do with whoever scripted this and the production part of it, not the wrestlers themselves, because I thought the wrestlers did the best what they could with what they were given. And this was just garbage. It was my least favorite match of the night.
This is my least favorite thing of the whole episode. And I already complained about some of the other stuff we had earlier in the evening, but this was like the lowest point for me. I was like, damn, I really wanted this I really wanted to love this match, but I can't defend this one.
Okay, the Gallows Boys are Scottish.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been looking up because I'm just like, are they Irish? What are they? I was like, nope, they're Scottish.
That makes it hotter.
Yeah. So back to this. I'll tell you that I would literally say this, and guess what, everybody? It's only January 10th. I would say this is the worst match of the year so far. This match was bad. It was bad.
I was about to say, I was like, I think there's a match at the World's End pay-per-view for... Oh, no, wait, that happened in 2023, so don't count. But yeah, so far this... Wait a minute, let me think back at the matches I watched on Dynamite that I did before getting on here. No, so far this is not my favorite match. And I'm... If you haven't seen our New Japan review, me and JBL are just like... We didn't like the House of Torture match that happened at Wrestle Kingdom because we don't like House of Torture, but even that was more entertaining with this. And that's saying something because we hate House of Torture in New Japan. I cannot defend this women's match. It was not good, and I was so disappointed. What makes it worse for me, too, is that I can already see the bookers use this win for Cora to build up to face Lyra. And I was just like, girl, that match was not even good. I was just like, now, you used the tag team match in which you pinned her. Totally. I can hear for that because that match was good. But no, I want to forget this match. I want to purge it from my memory.
God, you're not kidding.
Which is weird to go from a disappointing women's match to we only seen her wrestle once, but her on-screen presence and charisma just turned me around. So Out the Mud is in the parking lot, and they're talking about how they got punked. And then who should show up but Miss Jada Parker herself. Let me tell you, in the 1 minute that she talked, I'm already sold. I'm like, oh, you a baddie, you a bad bitch, I'm here for it. I was just like, yes, ma'am. Run these little boys through the ringer.
Yep. I was like, oh, look. Someone who could actually probably make them winners.
Seriously, listen, I need Jada Parker to whip these boys into shape. And I love it. Y'all got punked by the simplest thing. I was like, my favorite line for this whole thing is just, y'all got Riz, and they were all quiet. Because Riz is another word for swagger, or you like the it factor. And she's, do y'all got it? They were quiet. She didn't think so. I was like, yes, girl, read them for Phil. Jada Parker is the piece you're missing.
Yep. She needs to take over management of that team.
And even Scripps was like, all right, let's go top business. I was like, yes, I'm here for Jada Parker being a part of this if she's running the show with these boys.
I would be all over that, yeah.
I was like, see, there's a way. To me, I think the way that Jada carries herself and the energy she gives, as well as like the physical appearance, I'm like, I feel that's how you can credibly do the presentation for Out the Mud, of them still being that, like, from the streets, the hood kind of stuff, but do it in a way where you channel it into not so stereotypical, you know what I mean, with the do-rags and cornrows and everything, and the grills. I was just like, we out here looking like the bootleg G Unit from the back of the 2000s with 50 Cent and all them.
Yeah.
I was like, see, we can't be doing this. But Miss Jada Parker, I need you back on my television screen immediately.
Amen. Amen. She was great.
She was great. And then the second quarterfinal match we had at the Dusty Tag Team Classic was also a nice pick-me-up too. Our lovable himbos, Hank and Tank, taking on the Speed Force themselves of Nathan Frazier and Axiom. This match was also really good.
This was really good. Mm-hmm.
Of course, you have your powerhouses in Hank and Tank, and then you have the speed and the agility of Nathan Frazier, who's running around like a madman. and Axiom, who's doing your lucha libre high flying stuff while also doing to the mat wrestling as well, so he can do both on the ground and in the sky. It is beautiful. This was a nice pick-me-up. I knew I was going to Axiom and Nathan as a team, but man, now I really love them as a team.
Me too. I was like, okay, because I think they were building to this, obviously, with all the little backstage things they were doing with them. And the more and more they did them, I was like, you guys should fight together. I would like to see you guys tag team. And boom, here they are. And I was like, yay. And what's so great about this, and I don't know if they have fought together before. Have they done a tag team before, or is this the first time?
I feel like they've tagged like once before, but not like in the capacity where they're going to continuously be a tag team.
Okay. Because they worked well together. With Nathan's speed and Axiom's agility, man, they worked very well together.
Oh, absolutely.
So I really enjoyed this match thoroughly.
And as we said, Nathan and Axiom pick up the win. There's only one little nitpick I have with this now that both of these matches are over. We don't get these two teams in the finals. We're getting them in the semifinals, and it bums me out. I was like, no, I want you two to fight it out in the finals.
No, I'm the same way.
One of these teams is not making it, and unfortunately, I love Axiom and Nathan Frazier, but I'm rooting for Baron and Braun to make it to the finals.
I am. I'm totally a breaker and a little bit of my brain. Good blood. A Baron and Braun final match. I am here for it. I can't tell you how much I am on their side now. I cannot express it enough. I do love me some Axiom and Nathan. I do. And I thought they fight so well together. But at the moment...
Ron is my pick, so I want to see those boys make it to the finals and win.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which is crazy to say.
It is. I'm just like, oh God. What have I become?
Something me and you don't have to worry about becoming is a hot mess, because that is exactly what happened to Tiffany in this final installment of the Fallon and Tiffany trilogy. Tiffany, I think, showed the most grit here. She did not want to clean up the stalls, but she did the damn thing. And then I did everything you asked, Fallon. I'm done. I'm going home. And you know what? Fallon was trying to let Tiffany know. It was like, girl, I'm actually proud of you. You did it. And then, of course, Tiffany couldn't take the compliment because she's, you know what, Fallon? I feel sorry for you. Because I lived for you for a day with dirt under your fingernails. It's so gross. I want to shower. And you know what? I pity you. And then we end this in the best way possible. Fallon's, oh, girl, don't step in that. So Tiffany steps in poo. And then she falls into the water bucket. And then it's just screaming. And then Fallon and the rest of the ranch hands leave Tiffany to throw her meltdown tantrum as we close out on this trilogy of segments we got. And the Academy Award for the best segment to happen in 2024, even though it's this early, goes to Fallon and Tiffany's misadventures on the ranch. This is literally the surreal life in 2024, like with Paris Hilton and her friend.
Oh, absolutely. So good. Oh my God. It was so funny. This whole sequence was everything I wanted and more.
Mm-hmm.
I had it in my brain. I was envisioning what this was going to look like, and they delivered it beautifully.
I want to say, I'm not a theater person, but I would love to show this to people. This is how you tell a plot in a 3-act structure in like short skit versions. This is a 3-act play in a sense. You have your starting action, you have the climax, and then you have your falling action like you do in literature. And each segment was only maybe 2 whole minutes. But man, I was just like, this was like you said, this was everything I wanted and then some more. I was just like, this was a beautiful thing. Well, what did you think of Tiffany and Fallon?
I thought that, again, exceeded my expectations and my hopes. Because, and I'll say this, because I grew up on a farm. I'm a farm boy. And I had cousins who were like city dwellers. And to see the city cousins come to the farm and have to get up and do chores and things like that, and they would dress in their like normal clothing. This hit home for me, because it really did. Not to her extreme, but they would wear like their nice daily going out and meeting friends clothes, and I would be like, you don't want to wear that. You're gonna want to wear this, and they're like, ew, I don't wear this. I'll just wear these. It'll be fine. I'm like, you're gonna get them dirty. And they wouldn't listen, and then of course they'd step in cow dung, and they would fall down or slip, and when I was a kid growing up, it made me laugh then, and watching this, it made me laugh now, because it's just so wonderful and it's such a great. And the other thing I love about this is that it's all the idea, don't judge someone until you've walked a day in their shoes. And I thought this was a great lesson, as well as fun and funny. And Tiffany, the actual person behind the character, did a fantastic job. And I personally, I was just like, I bet she's having the best time doing this, because she's really making Tiffany look miserable. So I loved it. I thought it was everything I wanted, and some things I didn't realize I wanted. So I loved it. It was great. It was totally worth it.
It really was. I loved it so much. I was just like, so good. And we'll see what happens next with Tiffany and Fallon, as it seems that we're putting a close to this current rivalry from now, and we'll see what lays in store for them. Again, quickly, we get another backstage segment I feel like didn't need to happen. So we get Idris Enofe and Malik Blade talking about their match next week in the tournament. And then we got all the weird, don't know her name, fitness guru trying to get them in shape or whatever. And then they leave. I was just like, oh, okay. This did not need to be her.
No, it was pointless. It really was. It didn't give us anything other than introducing them to people who don't know them.
And that kind of leads into the bumper. So we are told we get 2 more Dusty Cup matches next week. So we're going to see Carmelo and Trick taking on Idris Enofe and Malik Blade. And then on the other side, we have LWO being represented by Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde taking on Chase U, which is our lovable golden retriever duo of Duke Hudson. And not Andre Chase, but Riley Osborne, which I was like, smart choice, JC.
Absolutely.
Something tells me I was just, if I'm being honest, because we're not going to get Axiom and Nathan versus Braun and Baron in the final. So I'm hoping it's Chase U versus Baron and Braun.
Oh my God.
I was just like, listen, Duke Hudson just throwing everybody around, Riley just flipping off things.
Oh my God, I know, right? That would be great.
But I think I get the sneaking suspicion, if they don't pull the betrayal card anytime soon, I think the finals, and I would be happy for Braun and Baron, but I think the finals are going to be those two versus Trick and Carmelo at Vengeance Day. I'm like, but you know what? That's not there.
That doesn't make any sense, though. You know,
the words of the professor. If it makes sense, they won't do it.
I know, but it's one of those. Yeah, it's true, because as theater people, actors are like that. But it's the idea of vengeance. They call it Vengeance Day. If you're gonna theme something, then stick with it. Because I don't understand what that would be. That's not vengeance. Vengeance isn't, we're just a couple of tag teams fighting for a title or whatever. That's called a championship fight. That's what that is. That's not a vengeance thing. And that irritates me. It just irritates me. Because I'm just like, what beef does Trick Williams have with, say, for instance, Duke and Riley Osborne? None. Yeah. He doesn't really have beef with any of these folks except the man that he's fighting with. I want to see Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes go at it at Vengeance Day. I know it won't happen, but it's what I want.
Yep, that is a fair point.
I
Oh boy.
I think sadly, I think you're right. I think it's exactly what's going to happen, and it's going to be so annoying.
It is. From here, we reach the main event, which we'll talk about too. The main event for the NXT North American Championship, Dragon Lee defending against Lexis King. I'm going to bypass the match itself because I thought it was pretty decent. We get an appearance from Trey Bearhill. I was like, yes, continuity. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we're going to see Lexis versus Trey at some point in the next couple of weeks, which I'm here for it. But let's get into the reason why we're all here. The match itself was fine. Then we got a secondary championship match. Why? Because Obafemi cashes in his breakout tournament contract to face Dragon Lee. And they made me believe it was like, oh, he's going to lose. But no, Obafemi beats Dragon Lee and is your new NXT North American champion as NXT goes off the air this week. And I was just like, I feel perplexed, bamboozled, and intrigued at the same time.
Yeah. So funny about this. I too, because I was messaging Mikey about it. And I was just like, that was a choice. And Mikey told me some things, and I was like, well, I get that. Yeah, I gotta understand that. But then I was thinking later, like right before we did the review and everything, I was sitting there thinking, if I was Obafemi, would I want to have won a title like that? First of all, you challenged Dragon Lee right after he defended it against Lexis King. You know he's not in top form. He's probably weaker than normal because he's tired and he's been tossed around. So I'm like, are you okay with that? You basically won because he couldn't fight back, basically, is what it really feels like. But I'm just like, and I'm disappointed in that choice. That's why I was like, that's a choice. Because I really think that I want to see Obafemi win. I wanted to see him win a title, like win a title. Not this way. I don't know. I felt like I got bamboozled. I really did. I was so like, I don't understand that choice. I don't get it. I'm all for it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for Obafemi being the new champion. I'm totally for that. But I just didn't like the way it happened. I really don't. And don't get me wrong. And I know things like that happen in this business or in this entertainment center system. But this just felt wrong. For Obafemi, it felt wrong because he has been such a powerhouse player through the knockout series. He just dominated. And then he comes out and picks on a weaker opponent. That doesn't make any sense to me. Seriously, in a storytelling aspect, unless you're going to make him a complete heel. If you're going to make him a heel, then it makes sense that he would basically be an opportunist and not actually good at what he does. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, but he's good at what he does. Why? I just don't understand this choice. I didn't understand the choice at all. And it really bugged me. It put a bee in my bonnet today. And I've been thinking about it since you and I had our little text conversation. I was just like, I wanted better for you, Oba. I wanted better for you. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting a little too emotionally involved. I don't know, but I was not happy. I literally was thinking about it, just going, that is not what I wanted for you, man.
All right. I'm going to try to articulate this as best as I can because you are totally right to feel this way. However, this is going to be maybe like the one time where the roles are reversed. It was just like, here, young Padawan, let me teach you the ways of this business. Because for me personally, while I was a little bit surprised to see Dragon Lee no longer be our NXT North American champion, on the one hand, I totally get that. I was like, what is happening? What are we doing? But then I thought about it and I contemplated and reflected. I was like, you know what? It makes sense because realistically, this was supposed to be Wes Lee's spot, but because he is injured and he's going to be out for the year, they had to do something quickly because we literally got Wesley pulled out of his match for the North American Championship literally a few days before deadline was supposed to occur. So that was a thing that happened. Now, in terms of Omofemi cashing in his contract in the way he did, on the one hand, I could totally see that because Dragon Lee just had a match, he's not 100%. However, that's how the equal opportunity happens with these contracts, and then on main roster with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Both heels and faces alike have the ability to cash it at any time. And so for me, I was just like, I can't fault Obafemi for this. Like, you want to make a name, you want to make waves, then you cash that sucker in. Now, normally, heels are the ones that will cash it in and be the equal opportunists. Faces usually announce this is when I'm cashing it in. But sometimes it always doesn't end up like that. So for me, it doesn't really bother me that Obafemi cashed it in the way he did. But what I'm more perplexed with is the fact that Obafemi is a champion now. And I was just like, I just think because I think plans changed so much with Wesley leaving because he's injured and he's going to be out for the next year or so. I'm just like, I think they were trying to figure out, all right, what do we do with this title now? We got to figure out what we're doing with it. And I don't want to invalidate feelings here, but young Padawan, this is the way it sometimes, as the kids say. Like, this happens all the time, and I'm used to it. And honestly, if I were in Omofemi's shoes, you bet your bottom dollar I would do the same thing if I'm being completely honest. Now, again, we have to wait and see because I need to see if NXT is going to play Oba to be a heel or to be a face. Because if he leans towards the face direction, then I'm going to be like, I don't think that's how that cash-in was looked at. Well, go off, sis. And this is where Will tells me I'm wrong, which I'm totally okay with. But it doesn't bother me too much because I'm used to this kind of stuff with the contracts and the Money in the Bank briefcase on main roster. Like, it makes sense for me.
I'm not, by no means, you're wrong. No, my whole thing is, I totally do. I totally understand you've got it, use it whenever you want to use it. I get that whole concept. But I'm just so, I don't know. I felt it was a poor choice. I did. It just came off as opportunistic moment, and Obafemi took it, and I didn't care for it. I didn't care because I really like Obafemi, and now I have issues with him. I have issues with him now, and I hate that. I truly do. I really do hate it because I don't know. I don't know. It just felt wrong. It just did. It just felt. And again, I get it, and I know I'm newer to it, and I get it, but I get the concept of it. It felt out of character. That's my issue. It felt out of character. What they've been setting him up as, I get he wants to dominate. I get that, and I'm pretty sure that's why he did it. That's cool. But the fact that he did it right after Dragon Lee's match with Lexis King, it felt opportunistic. And even though I think he wants to dominate, I don't think he's that kind of guy. I just don't think he's that, because to me, that makes him sleazy now. Mm-hmm. And I hate that because he's brand new. He hasn't been here that long. And I get the whole idea. You got to get in here and you got to make a name for yourself or people are just going to forget about you. I get that. I'm a character guy. Characters are very important to me. And I feel like he went against his character. I feel that he went against who he is. And that's what's been bugging me about it. Truly. That's it.
That's fair. But yes, like I said, this is how NXT goes off the air this week. I'm not even going to preface this. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for us to review this. I'm giving this like a 6. I'm only giving this a solid 6. Actually, no, I have to go lower, unfortunately. I'm gonna give this a 5.5. I was just like, there was way too much involved in this episode for me. That was a struggle to get through it. The pacing was off. A lot of the matches got cut for short time. I get that we had the 2 tag team matches, but even then, they weren't that long. They went maybe like 10, 13 minutes tops. And then all the women's matches were only 5 minutes. And just the whole entire thing of what we're doing with Carmelo and Trick is baffling me. Fallon and Tiffany segments were great, and they were awesome. The Gallus and Braun and Baron match was my highlight, but everything else was really tough. I was just like, what is happening? So I gotta give this week a 5.5.
I gave it a 5. It's just, it was what it was, and what it was not great. So I literally was just 5. The Braun Breaker Corbin match was like the jewel of the night for me. And nothing else got close to it.
That is very fair.
So that's why I'm just like, 5. Because that was, for me, honestly, it was one of the only redeeming things.
Oh, yeah. It was a thing for sure. Yep. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's Los Chicos Gordos review. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Make sure to check out all the other reviews we have here at the YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. Make sure to subscribe to your favorite podcast network, because we also have podcasts. And then we also have a Patreon, so make sure you can go subscribe to that. Drop us a donation. Give us $1. Every little bit helps. We love the content we make, and we want to be able to bring you more, but it costs monies to do that. So every little bit helps. Me and we'll be back next week for another rendition of us reviewing NXT as we draw ever so closer to the first PLE of the year for NXT Vengeance Day in 3 weeks at the time of this recording. So for myself and Will, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, all you beautiful peoples out there, stay biconic. We'll see you for the next review, but until then, ta for now.